This is Eyes Free Fitness, gentle yoga for beginners. I'm Joe Simek, certified yoga instructor and owner of Dragonfly Yoga Studio in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Make sure you consult a physician before performing this yoga sequence or any exercise program, especially if you have medical conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, or diabetes. It is your responsibility to evaluate your own medical and physical condition and to determine whether to perform or adapt any of the exercises in this program. If you have symptoms like weakness, lightheadedness or dizziness, chest pain or pressure, nausea, or shortness of breath, stop and consult your healthcare provider. All of the postures in this program can be found with detailed descriptions and modifications at BlindAlive.com. I recommend you review them at least once. Today, I'll be leading you through a gentle yoga sequence designed to warm up your joints, strengthen and lengthen your muscles, and ultimately bring you to a state of relaxation. In addition to a yoga mat, I suggest that you have a folded blanket or pillow. You can place this blanket or pillow at the center of your mat and find a comfortable seated posture on top of it. You can start by sitting cross-legged, or if it's more comfortable, extend your legs out in front of you. Either way, your sitting bones should be on the blanket or pillow, and your legs should be in front of it, so that your hips are raised a little above your knees. This should make sitting more comfortable. As we begin, start to find length in your spine, sitting up as tall as possible. Feel a nice line of energy moving up your spine and through the crown of your head. Begin to relax your shoulders down, away from your ears. Place your hands on your knees, with your palms facing up. Relax your throat and jaw, letting your tongue fall from the roof of the mouth, and begin to notice your breathing. Try not to control it, just let it be there. As you continue to center, we'll move into something called Conqueror Breath. Inhale through your nose, and as you exhale through your mouth, make a H-A or a ha sound. It sounds like this. Try it with me. Let's do that one more time. This time when you do it the exact same way, but now close your lips. As you continue to breathe in and out of your nose now, your breath will become more audible. We call this Conqueror Breath, and we use it for both a centering technique to begin our practice, as well as during our practice, to ensure that we remain steady and comfortable in each pose. Stay with Conqueror Breath, noticing how when you exhale through your nose, your breath moves along the back of the throat. As you inhale through the nose, your breath originates at the back of the roof of the mouth. Some people call this Darth Vader breath. Let your breath be audible and pay attention to the sound it makes. Continue to breathe here, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Allow your mind to begin to clear as your focus on your breathing deepens. Now we'll begin to warm up the muscles and joints throughout the body. Stay with your Conqueror Breath throughout these warm-ups and our yoga postures, coming back to it whenever your mind wanders. To warm up the neck and shoulders, we'll start by dropping our chin towards our chest. As you move your head in a circle to the right, bring your right ear over your right shoulder. Continue to move in the same direction, dropping your head backwards, and then bringing your left ear over the left shoulder. Finally, bring the chin back to the chest. Continue to move in this circular fashion, breathing as you move. Remember to move and breathe slowly, relaxing your shoulders down. The next time you bring your chin to your chest, reverse direction, moving your head in a circle to the left and bringing your left ear over your left shoulder. Continue to move in the same direction, dropping your head backwards and then bringing your right ear over the right shoulder. Again, bring the chin back to the chest. Continue rotating for 2 deep breaths in this direction. As you come back to center, lift your head back up to neutral. We'll move now into our wrists. Extend both your arms forward in front of you. Your arms should be parallel to the floor. Make gentle fists with both hands and begin to make circles with them, moving both at the same time, but in opposite directions. Feel the muscles throughout the arms begin to activate and the wrist joints warm up. If you haven't already, reverse direction, moving the hands and wrists in the opposite direction, and continue to breathe. As we move the joints throughout the body, we are lubricating them with something called synovial fluid. The more we move, the more the fluids circulate in the joints. This helps get things going and warms us up for future postures. Now relax your arms back down. We'll move into the shoulders. Bring your hands to the shoulders by bending your elbows and rest your fingers on top of your shoulders. In the same way that we move the wrists, we'll begin to make big circles in the air with our elbows, warming up the shoulder joints. Rotate the joints slowly and take 4 or 5 breaths here. Now begin to move in the opposite direction, moving slowly and gently. Rest your arms down and relax your shoulders again. We'll transition into our ankles by extending our legs out in front of us, if they're not already extended. Make sure you're sitting up tall and that your legs are hip distance apart. Just as we did with our wrists, we'll begin to rotate our feet at the ankles, moving both at the same time. Of course, continue breathing here. As you come to center, reverse direction, moving slowly and moving gently as you engage the muscles in the legs and warm up the ankle joints. We'll move our focus now up to the legs, to the knees. Keeping your back straight, pick up your right leg with both hands. Lift your extended leg off the floor. As you raise it up, inhale. Then as you exhale, shift your hands to your shin, bend your knee completely, and bring your thigh into your chest. Continue with this motion, inhaling the leg up, and then exhaling and bringing the leg to the body. We'll do this for 4 breaths on each side. After your 4th breath, rest your right leg back on the mat and switch to the left leg. Again, pick up your left leg with both hands and lift the leg off the floor. As you raise it up, inhale, and then as you exhale, shift your hands to your shin. Again, bend your knee completely and bring your thigh into your chest. Continue for 4 breaths on this side, working to naturally sync your breath with the movement. Now we'll transition to all fours, or tabletop position. As you do, move your blanket or pillow off your mat. Start by putting the palms of your hands, your knees, shins, and the tops of your feet to the mat. Your fingers can be at the very top of the mat. Make sure your hands, knees, and feet are all hip distance apart. In other words, your knees should be directly under your hips, and hands and feet should be in line with your knees. Your wrists should be directly under your shoulders, and you should keep a micro bend in your elbows. If you'd like some extra padding underneath your knees, you can always bring a blanket, this time thinly folded, back on the mat. We'll move into something called cat-cow, connecting again with your Conqueror Breath. Inhale, and as you do, drop your belly toward the mat, just like the drooping belly of a cow. Raise your nose upward, lifting the chin. Feel the stretch in your abdominal muscles and open up your chest. As you exhale, move in the opposite direction. Arch around your back like a cat, dropping your head towards your chest and tucking your chin. We're warming up the spine here and the muscles throughout the torso. Continue to breathe and move in these cat-cows, seeing if you can make the breath bigger than the movement. In other words, the air is still moving in or out of your nose as you reach the top and the bottom of the posture. Let's do 2 more. When you're finished, come back to a neutral spine and tabletop. We'll continue warming up the joints, this time moving into the hips. The exercise is similar to cat-cow, but there's a variation. From a tabletop position, inhale, and as you do, extend your right leg back behind you, parallel to the floor, straightening the leg and pushing through your heel. As you exhale, bring the knee and thigh into the chest, just like we did during our knee warm-up. As you bring the leg in, you can round the back again. As we inhale, we are lifting the leg back parallel to the floor. And as we exhale, we are bending the knee and bringing it into the chest. Let's do 3 more of these, connecting with your breath. When you're finished, bring your right knee back down into tabletop, and we'll move to the left leg. We'll do the same thing on this side, lifting the left leg back and straightening it with our inhale. As we exhale, the knee and the thigh come into the chest. Inhale, lift the leg back. Exhale, and bring it into the body. Continue to move and breathe in this exercise. Relax back into a tabletop position. Now that we've warmed up the muscles and joints in the body, it's time to move into some strengthening postures. Since we'll be staying here on all fours, let's take a moment to counter stretch the wrists. Sit back and up, bringing your hips to your heels. Move your arms by your sides and place the tops of your hands on the mat next to your shins. Your palms are facing up. Push down with your hands gently on the mat, stretching the wrists in the opposite direction from where they were in tabletop, and take a couple of breaths here. Now come back to tabletop position on all fours. We're starting our strengthening with a pose called Sunbird. Again, make sure your wrists are under your shoulders and there is a micro bend in your elbows. Your hands, knees, and feet are all in line with your hips. You are again lifting the right leg back and behind you parallel to the floor. But this time you're keeping the leg here and pushing through the heel. Make sure that your hips are even and your right hip isn't lifting too much higher than your left hip. At the same time, begin to use your core muscles by pulling your navel or your belly button towards your spine. This should engage your ab or abdominal muscles. Keep the right leg extended and begin to lift the left arm up and forward towards the front of your mat, making it parallel to the floor as well. So, you should be balancing on your right hand and your left knee, while your left arm and your right leg are fully extended. Make sure you're breathing and using your core muscles to stabilize yourself. Take a few deep breaths. And remember that if this is difficult, you can always bring your arm or leg down and focus on one or the other. Now bring your left hand and right knee back to the mat, and we'll change sides. This time your left leg lifts backwards and your right arm is extended in front of you. Again, try to even off your hips. Engage your core, bring your navel in towards your spine. Your nose can be facing down. Try to relax your neck, but also try to lengthen your spine. Find your breath here and feel the muscles working in your core, in your shoulders, in your arms, your hips, and your legs. Inhale and exhale as we take a few more cycles of breath. When you're finished, bring your right hand and your left knee back down, and we'll move into downward facing dog. Take both hands and bring them up to the top of your mat. Your index fingers can touch the very top of the mat, making sure those fingers are parallel to the mat. Try to ground down with the entirety of your hands, especially your palms. Curl your toes under, and then lift your knees off the mat. As you find length in your spine, push your hips towards the back of the mat. Try to get the weight to move out of your wrists. If you feel you're in a plank position or a push-up position, bring the body instead to form a sort of triangle or pyramid shape. Continue to try to push your energy out of your wrists and back through your hips. Your legs are straight here, but there is a micro bend in your knees. You're trying to drop your heels to the floor, although for many of us, they might not reach. Either way, you should feel a stretch along the back of your legs. Obviously, we're building muscle here in your shoulders and your arms as you keep yourself up. And as with all poses, especially these strengthening poses, it's important that we remember to breathe. Take 3 good breaths here in downward facing dog. As you do, see if you can open your chest towards the floor, deepening the stretch in your shoulders and back. Rest back down now into tabletop position, and then drop your entire body down to the mat, coming down onto your chest. The full length of your body should be on the mat. We're moving into a chest-opening back bend called Cobra Pose. Stretch your legs back behind you with the tops of your feet on the mat. Spread your hands on the floor and make sure that they're under your shoulders. Throughout this pose, keep your elbows into your body. Being mindful of your lower back, begin to push into the mat with your hands and your elbows. Inhale and lift your chest off the mat. If you feel strong, maybe begin to straighten the arms and lift higher, coming off your elbows. Your torso should rise no further than about the navel or maybe the waistline. Open up your chest, bringing your shoulder blades together. Breathe here, trying to hold yourself up for about 5 breaths. Listen to your lower back, and of course, come back down if you need to. After your 5th breath, exhale and bring your chest back down to the mat. Now push yourself back into a tabletop position, and we'll begin to transition into child's pose. First, with your knees in line with your hips, bring your hips back onto your heels. The tops of your feet should be on the mat. Then bring your chest down to the top of your thighs. Try to rest your forehead on the mat, and you may need to bring your blanket or your pillow underneath your forehead to make it a little easier to come down. Bring your arms along your sides, extending them back behind you, and rest them on the mat. Your palms should be facing up. If this is really uncomfortable, try spreading your knees out a little wider than your hips, and then come down again. Also, you may want to bring a blanket on top of your heels and under your hips to aid in coming down as well. Obviously, we're stretching our ankles here, as well as our quadriceps, as we bring the weight of our torso back down on top of them. This is a really great counter stretch to Cobra and other back bends. Breathe here into your belly and feel it expand against your thighs. See if you can expand the entirety of your torso with your breath, and feel an added stretch in your back along your spine. Take 3 more breaths here, doing your best to surrender into Child's Pose. Breathe deeply and evenly. We'll transition now into a seated posture. First, lift your chest off your thighs and sit up. Drop your hips to the right side and down to the mat, and then extend your legs out in front of you. You can again sit on a folded blanket or pillow. We'll move now into a seated forward fold. Bring your arms along your sides and push your palms into the mat, with your fingers facing towards the front of the mat. Feel yourself lift as you lengthen your spine and sit up tall, and feel that line of energy through the crown of the head, pushing through your heels, slightly engaging your quads. Your knees should be facing directly up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, raise your arms directly over your shoulders. Relax your shoulders down. Then as you exhale, begin to forward fold, hinging at the hips. As you bring your chest forward, try not to roll your shoulders. Rather, try to keep the length in your spine. Come down slowly, imagining that you're holding a big ball in your hands. As your hands come down, place them on either side of your legs and keep your shoulders square. Feel the deep stretch in the back of your legs. If you feel you can come down further, inhale and extend your spine first, and then exhale and hinge a little bit deeper. It's important to keep your spine as long as possible and not round it. Keep breathing in this forward fold. After your next exhale, lift yourself back up. Now that we've stretched the legs, we'll transition into a seated twist. Keeping your legs extended in front of you and in line with your hips, bend your right knee and bring the sole of your right foot to the mat, next to your left knee. Sit up tall, inhaling with length in your spine. As you exhale, begin to twist, opening your chest to the right. Take your left arm and wrap it around your right knee. Your knee should rest in the crease of your left elbow. Hold on to your leg and extend your right arm behind you, bringing your right hand to the mat directly behind you. Bring your nose towards your right shoulder and breathe into this seated twist. If you feel you can come deeper into the twist, again, think about inhaling length in your spine and then exhaling into the twist. With your next exhale, release your arm and come back to center. Extend your right leg back out and begin the posture on the other side. Bend your left knee and bring the sole of the left foot on the mat next to your right knee. Sit up tall, inhaling with length in your spine. As you exhale, begin to twist, opening your chest to the left. Take your right arm and wrap it around your left knee. Your knee should rest in the crease of your right elbow. Hold on to your leg, extend your left arm behind you, bringing your left hand to the mat. Bring your nose toward your left shoulder, and again find your breath. Release your arm and come back to center. Now it's time for a deeper hip stretch, which we'll do in Bound Angle Pose. Begin by bending the knees, bringing the soles of the feet together, and bringing the feet towards the body. Your knees should be out wide to the sides of your mat, coming down towards the floor. Some people call this butterfly pose because of the way our legs are shaped. Again, sit up tall, and as you inhale, lengthen in your spine, and as you exhale, begin to forward fold, hinging at the hips. The stretch should be in your hip joints and groin. Come forward to where you begin to feel the stretch. If you feel you can come a little deeper, let the breath take you deeper into the pose. Inhale and lengthen the spine, and then exhale and hinge. Stay here for 4 good cycles of breath. Now sit back up and extend your legs out in front of you again. We'll transition now onto our backs on the mat, so you can put your blanket or pillow off to the side. As you roll onto your back, your body is parallel to your mat. Bring your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your shins, and give yourself a little bit of a hug. You can rock from side to side gently, massaging the spine and releasing the back a little bit. From here, as we move into bridge pose, keep your knees bent, but rest the soles of your feet back onto the mat. Keep your knees in line with your hips. Bring your arms along your sides on the mat, palms facing down, and point your fingers towards the bottom of your mat. Make sure there are 6 inches or so between your fingertips and your heels. In other words, make sure that your heels are not up by your buttocks. We'll be lifting our hips toward the ceiling in bridge pose, and when we do this, we want to make sure our knees are directly on top of our ankles. Before you lift your hips, first flatten your spine against the floor, removing the space between the lower back and the floor. As you do, continue in this movement and lift your hips up as high as you can towards the ceiling. Hold your hips up here and return to your breathing. As you hold your hips up, with the muscles in your legs and your core and your back, try not to let your knees come out wide. Keep them in line with your hips. Bridge is an inversion pose, and one of the reasons we want to bring our hips above our heart is to let the blood flow into our vital organs and take some pressure off our heart. Take 3 more breaths here, letting gravity do its work. Now bring your hips back to the mat and take a resting breath here. We're moving into Reclining Pigeon Pose now. Your legs are still bent with the soles of your feet on the floor. Lift your right foot off the mat and place your right ankle on top of your left thigh, just below the knee. From here, lift your left foot off the mat and bring your left thigh towards your chest. Reach your right hand in between your legs and hold onto the back of the left thigh or the front of the left knee. Your left hand can do the same, coming around your left thigh on the left side to hold on as well. Push through both heels. Inhale, and then use your hands to pull your left thigh in more towards your chest as you exhale. You should feel a really great stretch along the right glute muscles and into your right hip joint. You may also feel the stretch moving up into your lower back on the right side. Try to rest your head on the mat, bringing a pillow or blanket underneath it if you need to, and take 3 more breaths here. Release your hands and bring your left foot back to the mat. Uncross your right ankle and bring your right foot back to the mat as well. We'll come into the pose on the other side now. Lift your left foot off the mat and place your left ankle on top of your right thigh, again just below the knee. Begin to lift your right foot off the mat and bring your right thigh towards your chest. Reach your left hand through the hole created by your left leg and hold onto the back of the right thigh or the front of the right knee. Your right hand holds on as well. Push through both heels again. Breathe here as you bring the same stretch into the left hip on this side. Release your hands and bring your right foot back to the mat. Uncross your left ankle and bring the left foot back to the mat. Now we'll transition into a reclining twist. To start, bring both knees into your chest. Use both hands to keep your right knee into your chest and extend your left leg out completely and bring it down to the mat so it's parallel to the mat. Push through your left heel. Release your right arm to the mat, extending it out perpendicular to your body. With your left hand on your right knee, begin to pull your right knee across your body to the left, bringing the knee towards the floor. It's okay if it doesn't come down all the way to the floor. If it's comfortable, point your nose to the right hand, coming into a full twist. Find your breath here and try to keep your right shoulder grounded on the yoga mat. This pose should help release any tension in your back that we might have created through our yoga practice. Try to surrender here into the pose and breathe evenly. Begin to release your right knee back to center, and we'll come into the twist on the other side. Bring your left knee into your chest to meet your right, and then extend your right leg out completely and bring it down to the mat, pushing through your right heel. Extend your left arm out again perpendicular to your body. With your right hand on your left knee, begin to pull your left knee across the body to the right. Point your nose to the left hand, coming into a full twist on this side. Keep your left shoulder on the mat and breathe here. When you're ready, release the left knee back to center and bring your right knee back into your chest and give yourself one last hug by wrapping your arms around your shins. We're moving now into our last posture, Relaxation Pose. If you continue to have tension in your lower back, keep your knees bent and bring the soles of the feet back to the floor. Bring your knees together and then walk your feet out to the edges of your mat. Your knees can rest on one another. Stay like this as long as you need to. Otherwise, extend both your legs out and down to the mat. Bring your arms along your side with your palms facing up. Do whatever you need to do here to be comfortable. Maybe that means bringing a blanket underneath your head, or maybe rolling the blanket and placing it underneath your knees. Start to relax your body as you feel the support of the floor beneath you. Take notice of what points of your body are connecting with the mat and the floor. Also, notice the air as it touches your skin. See if you can feel the body begin to sink into the floor. Bring a sense of relaxation into the body, bringing your awareness first to your toes, relaxing them. Let the relaxation move now into your feet, into your heels, moving up your legs, into your ankles, your calves, and your shins. Your knees are relaxing. That relaxing energy moves up to the tops of your thighs, dripping down into the bottoms of your thighs. Your hips and pelvis relax and sink a little bit deeper into the mat. Relax your belly, wrapping around to your lower back. Relax each vertebrae as you move up your spine into your rib cage. Wrap back around to your heart center and relax your chest. Relax your shoulders deeper into the mat as well. Relax down your arms through your biceps and triceps. Relax your elbows, your forearms, and your wrists. Feel the relaxing energy in the palm of your hands as you relax through your fingertips. Again, let the tongue fall from the roof of the mouth as you relax the throat and the jaw. See if you can relax your face, your nose, the very center of your eyes. Relax the space between your eyebrows, moving up the center to your forehead and finally to your crown. Your head feels heavy. Your body feels heavy. Come back to your breath. Come back to the gentle rise and fall of the belly. Each inhale brings relaxation, and each exhale relieves tension. As you continue to breathe here, think to yourself with your inhale, I am, and as you exhale, relaxed. Inhale, I am, and exhale, relaxed. Stay here in this peaceful state, continuing to breathe. When you're ready, come back to the body and begin to bring movement into your fingers and toes. Stretch your arms out overhead and bring them down to the mat. Point through your toes, feeling the body lengthen. Inhale and exhale here, and as you do, roll onto your right side in the fetal position. Take a moment here to thank yourself for practicing your yoga. Take note of how you feel, and take this sense of relaxation with you as you go through your day. With your next inhale and exhale, bring yourself up to a comfortable seated pose with your legs crossed or extended out in front of you, and take a moment to breathe. Bring your palms together in front of your heart and bow to your inner self. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, namaste. For more well-described fitness programs, visit BlindAlive.com.